My manipulative half-sister tried to ruin my life and steal my university fund, and my parents brushed it off as bridal stress. Now everyone sees how toxic she really is. My name is Jonah. I'm 18 years old and I live in Vallejo, California, though honestly, I wouldn't call it home. Not because of the place itself, but because of who I share it with. Technically, I'm the second youngest in a family of 5. Blended is what people call it. That sounds way nicer than what it actually is. My mom had Marla with her first husband. My dad had Evan. Then they got together and had me and my little sister, Tori. But family has never meant the same thing for all of us. Especially not for Marla and me. Marla's 6 years older than me, but it's always felt like more than that. More distance, more resentment, more reasons for her to hate me. She's 24 now, with a Pinterest perfect life and an Instagram feed full of curated smiles. But she's been cold to me since before I could even talk. And the weirdest part? Nobody ever called her out on it. When I was a kid, I thought maybe I was just annoying. I was clingy, apparently. That's what she used to tell me. You always needed attention. Mom couldn't even bring you home from the hospital. That was a reference to the postpartum episode my mom had after I was born. She stayed in a psych unit for 6 weeks. I didn't understand it as a kid. I just knew I didn't have a mom for a while, and Marla made sure I knew it was my fault. I still remember this one time. I must have been 5 or 6. We were outside, and I had this plastic race car. It was nothing special, but it was my favorite. Marla took it, laughed, and threw it over the backyard fence into the neighbor's pool. I cried for hours. When I told our parents, she said I was lying. My mom told me not to tattle, and my dad said, "Come on, Marla's just playing. You boys need to toughen up." Even now, thinking about that makes my stomach twist. That's how it always was. She'd push, I'd break, and everyone else would pretend it didn't happen. She once locked me in the laundry room because I breathed too loud during a movie. I was 7. That turned into some family joke. Remember when Jonah got "Time Out" by Marla the Warden? They still laugh about it every Thanksgiving. I stopped laughing around the 3rd retelling. I wish I could say it got better with time, but it didn't. Marla got smarter about hiding it, and I got better at pretending I didn't care. But I did care. I still do. It's hard not to, when you're the designated scapegoat in a house that calls itself loving. Marla could be passive-aggressive, controlling, cruel, and everyone just said, that's how she is. Like it was charming or eccentric. Like being an emotional bully was a personality quirk. It's exhausting, honestly. Growing up feeling like your presence is an inconvenience no one wants to talk about. And Marla made sure I never forgot it. It happened at the air show. That was my first mistake, agreeing to go. My dad had scored some free family passes to the Wings of Valor Aviation Festival in Concord. He said it would be a fun Saturday together, but I knew what it really was, an excuse for Marla to show off her new boyfriend, Brett. Brett was ex-Navy, tattooed, loud, and the kind of guy who called waiters chief. I didn't like him, but Marla did, and that meant we were all expected to play nice. We were watching some trick plane do loop-the-loops when the announcer suddenly started hyping up a special moment. Then one of the planes peeled off, trailed pink smoke, and flew a slow, smoky heart into the sky. I rolled my eyes. Somewhere, a pop song started playing from the loudspeakers. That's when Brett got down on one knee. Right there on the tarmac, in front of the crowd and the stench of jet fuel, with a microphone clipped to his collar. "Marla Janine Carpenter," he shouted, like he was giving a military order. "Will you make me the happiest man on earth and marry me?" People around us clapped and gasped. Marla covered her mouth and screamed, "Yes," like she hadn't helped plan the whole thing. My mom started crying. My dad hugged Brett like they were brothers in arms. Evan fist bumped me. I just stood there, nodding politely, trying not to laugh at how completely ridiculous it all was. Even back then, I knew this wasn't going to be a normal wedding. A few days later, I got a text from Marla. "Congrats. You're a groomsman. Don't be weird about it. I'll send info soon." "No, would you like to?" "No, thanks for being part of it. Just an assignment." Like I was a soldier being deployed to the front lines of Marla's ego. Then came the emails. Spreadsheets. Calendars. PDF itineraries with gold borders. There were 6 pre-wedding events, including something called the Groom's Combat Boot Camp Weekend in Arizona. All groomsmen were required to attend. Brett's idea. We'd bond like warriors, apparently. Everything was mandatory. The tux rental wasn't from some local shop. It was a bespoke suit company in San Francisco that charged extra if your chest was irregular. We were also expected to pay for a 3-night stay at a military-themed resort for the wedding itself, in Charleston, South Carolina. Flights, hotel, meals, grooming, all out of pocket. Brett had booked us rooms at some historic fort-turned-luxury lodge, complete with canon reenactments. I checked the rates. Almost $400 a night. I tried to bring it up gently. "Hey, Marla, I don't think I can afford all this." She replied 5 minutes later. "Then budget better. This isn't about you." And that was the message, really. None of this was about anyone but her. Not me, not Brett, not even our parents, who were already arguing over who'd cover what. This was Marla's battlefield, and the rest of us were just chess pieces. I didn't want to be a groomsman. I didn't want to fly across the country to be yelled at for blinking wrong in group photos. But saying no to Marla was never an option. Not in this family. Not if you wanted peace. The first package came in a manila envelope with my name printed in bold block letters. No return address, no note. Inside were 6 laminated pages titled, Groom Squad Readiness Guide. I flipped through it like I was reviewing terms of surrender. Page 1. All groomsmen will maintain a clean-cut, presentable appearance at all times. Weekly check-ins will be held via Zoom. Page 2. Bi-weekly weigh-ins. Goal: maintain 10% or lower body fat. Submit photos of your current fitness progress every other Friday. Page 3. Acceptable hairstyles: short sides, military or corporate style. No visible tattoos. Cosmetic sleeves will be provided for cover-ups. Page 4. Recommended grooming products. See attached Amazon list. Do not deviate. Page 5. You will be assigned a vendor liaison for outfit fittings and travel bookings. Do not contact vendors directly. All coordination must go through our shared groomsman Gmail. Page 6. Remember, discipline reflects loyalty. I stared at the packet for a full minute before I laughed. I thought it was a joke. Then my phone buzzed with a notification. Marla had invited me to a shared calendar labeled Wedding Training Schedule, Jonah Compliance. I wasn't making that up. That was the actual name of the calendar. There were entries for everything: suit fittings, etiquette webinars, personal grooming sessions, even a Saturday refinement class at a hotel in San Mateo where we were expected to learn how to fold pocket squares and answer military-to-manner etiquette scenarios. 2 days later, I got a hardcover book in the mail. Title: Discipline Leadership for the Next Generation. Tucked inside was a sticky note. Read this before the rehearsal dinner. You could really benefit. Also, keto starts next week. Let me know if you need help calculating macros. Marla. The absurdity of it would have been funny if it wasn't so suffocating. I hadn't even agreed to any of this. I was just swept into it like a conscript, expected to smile and say thank you for the privilege. When I finally brought it up to my mom, quietly, on a Tuesday night, hoping to get even a sliver of backup, she didn't even look up from her crossword. She's just anxious, she said. Don't take it personally. I blinked. Mom, she made me sign up for etiquette classes. She's monitoring our emails like we're in basic training. She just wants things to go smoothly. Don't rock the boat. That was the phrase. I'd heard it a million times. Don't rock the boat. Don't make things worse. Just keep your head down and survive. But I was starting to drown. I didn't want to lose my mind over custom socks or body fat percentages. I just didn't want to be treated like a project Marla could micromanage. Like I was some defective piece of decor she had to fix before her perfect wedding could begin. And the worst part? No one saw it. No one but me. I found out by accident. It was a Friday, right after school. I had come home to print out a FAFSA form, and I needed my mom's login info to access the parent section. She always kept our financial stuff in a shoebox-sized lockbox in her closet. Not locked, just tucked away behind some scarves. I'd used it before with her permission. Nothing sneaky. Except this time, the numbers didn't match. The balance listed for the college fund, the one my dad and mom had been contributing to since I was in middle school, was way lower than it should have been. Like, less than half low. I thought maybe I had pulled the wrong document. But then I found the recent statements. A withdrawal in March, another in April, 2 more in May. Thousands gone. The descriptions were vague, just transfers to another account ending in 21. I sat on the floor, heart racing, flipping through the folder until I found it. A memo with my mom's handwriting on top. Transfer to wedding expenses, Marla. I couldn't believe it. This wasn't just my savings. It was the fund my parents had set up for all of us. College, trade school, emergencies. They called it the kid cushion. My mom used to joke it would follow us like a safety net wherever we went. Now half of it was gone. For flowers and dress fittings and venue deposits. For a military cosplay wedding I never even wanted to attend. I didn't say anything right away. I waited until dinner. We were all there except Marla, who was out doing a cake tasting in Napa. My mom was microwaving leftover lasagna. My dad was on his phone. I was shaking. Why is my college fund almost empty? I said, quietly. They both looked up. What? My mom asked, blinking. I checked the statements. The wedding's been draining the fund. My fund. Tori's fund. All of it. My dad put down his phone. What are you talking about? My mom looked uncomfortable. It's not gone, Jonah. We just borrowed some of it. Marla's wedding got more expensive than we expected. I stared at her. So you used our college money? Without even telling me. She set down the spatula. We're going to replace it. Eventually. But Marla needed the support. She's been through a lot. That line. That same line. Like every decision that hurt me was okay, as long as it was made in the name of Marla's trauma. She needed support, I repeated. So you took mine. She's had a harder time than you, my mom said, her voice tightening. She's always felt like she wasn't really part of the family after the divorce. And then you were born and everything changed. So you're punishing me for being born? I asked, louder than I meant to. Hey, my dad cut in. Nobody's punishing anybody. We'll figure it out. I turned to him. Did you even know? He looked at my mom. She wouldn't meet his eyes. No, he said. I didn't. There was a long silence. My mom started cleaning the already clean counter. My dad stood up slowly. We're going to talk about this, he said to her. Now. They went into the other room. The door didn't fully close, and I could hear their voices rising and falling. Words like dishonest, unacceptable, and she needed help floated through the air. I sat at the dinner table staring at my plate, fist clenched, heart hammering in my chest. For the first time, something real had broken open. The illusion was gone. It wasn't just Marla. It was all of them. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I stayed up gathering everything. The emails, the text threads, screenshots of the grooming checklist, the invoice Marla sent with the subject line Groom Unit Compliance, May Charges. That one still made me laugh. Not because it was funny, but because it sounded like something out of a sci-fi dystopia. By the time the sun rose, I had compiled a 42-page PDF. I waited until Saturday morning to bring it to my dad. He was out back, watering his tomatoes like nothing had happened. I walked up, handed him the folder without saying a word, and watched his face change as he flipped through the pages. He didn't speak for a while, just kept reading. When he finally looked up, his jaw was tight. Is this real? All of it. This is how she's been treating you. For years. He closed the folder, wiped his hands on his shorts, and walked inside without another word. 10 minutes later, I heard him on the phone. Marla, I need you to come over. Now. This can't wait. She must have known something was off, because she showed up in record time, full makeup, blazer over a tank top, like she was trying to project authority. She barely looked at me when she walked in. My dad didn't waste time. He dropped the folder in front of her like it was a court summons. I want you to explain this. She flipped through a few pages, eyes scanning the highlighted messages, the absurd demands. She scoffed. Wow, Jonah's really pulling out the greatest hits, huh? Don't deflect, he said sharply. You've been bullying him, micromanaging, controlling everything from his diet to his socks. And now I find out your mother used the kid's college fund to pay for your wedding. Marla's nostrils flared. I didn't ask her to do that. She offered. Did you say no? No response. Did you tell her to stop? Still nothing. He leaned forward, voice low and even. I've looked the other way on a lot over the years. But this is done. Her mouth tightened. I can't believe you're taking his side. I'm not taking sides, he snapped. I'm setting boundaries. And here's one. If you want any more help with this wedding, you go to therapy. Real therapy. Or I pull the plug. That's when she lost it. Are you serious? You're blackmailing me with therapy? I'm serious. And if I say no, then figure it out without us. Her eyes darted to me, full of venom. You couldn't just let me have one thing, could you? I didn't flinch. You already had everything. She laughed bitterly. You think you're the victim? You ruined my engagement. You turned Dad against me. No, I said quietly. You did that all by yourself. She stood abruptly, knocking the chair back. You're all ungrateful. I was trying to make something beautiful, and you're tearing it down because of a few stupid emails. My dad crossed his arms. That beautiful thing was built on lies and control. She stared at him for a long time, then at me, like she was trying to memorize our faces. Then she grabbed her bag. You want me to disappear? Fine. She walked out, slammed the door behind her. The house shook. There was silence for a long time after. Finally, my dad turned to me. You're out. No more wedding duties. I'll deal with your mother. For the first time in a long time, I exhaled. Not because everything was okay, but because, finally, someone believed me. It was quiet after that. The kind of quiet that feels unfamiliar in a house like ours, where the drama usually hangs in the air like smoke. Marla stopped texting. My mom avoided me. My dad, though, started knocking on my door again. The night after the blowout, he came in with a yellow legal pad and a pen. Let's go over tuition, he said, sitting on the edge of my bed. I was too surprised to speak. I talked to the bank this morning, he continued. We've got enough in savings to cover your first year. We'll make the rest work. You're not going to lose school because of this. I nodded slowly. You're sure? I should have checked the accounts sooner, he said. That's on me. It wasn't an apology, not exactly. But it was the closest I'd ever gotten from him. And it meant more than I expected. Over the next couple weeks, things kept shifting. My mom stayed defensive quiet, but with that clipped edge in her voice like she was waiting to be challenged. I overheard her telling a friend on the phone, it's all gotten so dramatic. Jonah's still upset, but Marla's the one really hurting. But she didn't try to defend the money anymore. And more importantly, she didn't try to push me back into the wedding. From what I gathered, Marla was still getting married. Brett's family had agreed to take over part of the budget, and the ceremony was going forward, just leaner. She still hadn't spoken to me, and at some point, she blocked me on everything. Instagram, email, even the shared groomsmen account. I didn't feel sad. Just done. I started meeting with a school counselor once a week, just to keep my head clear. I told her about the wedding, the family dynamic, all of it. She didn't gasp or look shocked, just nodded like she'd heard this story 100 times in different shapes. I guess she had. That first meeting ended with her handing me a housing brochure. You need space, Jonah, she said. Physical and emotional. So I applied for residence. 2 days later, I got the confirmation. I had a spot. Move-in date was early August. I'd be out of the house before Marla's wedding, before the honeymoon, before the next family guilt trip. I taped the acceptance letter to the inside of my closet. Just seeing it helped me breathe easier. One evening, while packing a box of clothes, my dad walked by and saw the letter. He smiled. Good for you. That was it. No lecture. No last-minute change of heart. Just 4 words that from him felt huge. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was walking on eggshells. No demands. No passive-aggressive sighs from my mom. No text from Marla with reminders in all caps. Just space. And the faint beginning of something I hadn't felt in a long time. Control. I didn't go. I stayed home, in my half-packed room with the window cracked open and my phone on silent. From the photos I saw later, the wedding went off more or less as planned. Fewer guests than originally promised. Fewer groomsmen, too. I think one dropped out last minute. Or maybe Marla just demoted him for breathing wrong during a speech rehearsal. My friend Riley was there. His older brother works with Brett, and somehow he ended up on the extended invite list. That Monday, he slid into my DMs. Yo, that wedding was something. I asked him how it went. He replied with a string of messages. So many speeches. Groom cried when the saber arch went off. They made the ring bearer do push-ups before walking down the aisle. Slideshow at the reception. Not even joking. Oh, and she announced the pregnancy at the end. Like during dessert. That part hit me weird. Not because I was upset for missing it, but because I wasn't. At all. Marla had slipped the news into a PowerPoint like it was just another bullet point on her timeline. Apparently, the last slide was a photo of baby shoes next to Brett's military boots, with the words, "New recruit coming January," in bold font. The crowd clapped. Someone cried. The DJ transitioned straight into a mashup of Sweet Child O' Mine and the Top Gun soundtrack. I stared at the messages, unsure how to feel. I had always wondered what it would be like when Marla had a kid, if it would soften her, make her reflect. But now I couldn't even picture myself in that world. I wasn't going to be Uncle Jonah. I wasn't going to be anything. And strangely, that was fine. I put down my phone and sat on the edge of my bed. I looked around at the stacks of moving boxes, the empty corners of the room. A year ago, I would have done anything to feel included. I would have shaved my head, worn the ugly socks, let her bark orders just for a seat at the table. But now, I didn't want a seat. I wanted peace. And I finally had it. It's been 4 months since the wedding. I live in a small dorm room on the 2nd floor of a concrete residence hall, just off campus. The walls are thin, the radiator wheezes like it's trying to die, and my roommate keeps forgetting to throw away his banana peels, but it's mine. My space. No one yells at me for sleeping past 8. No one slides PowerPoint invites under my door. I start most mornings with a walk across campus. Just earbuds, coffee, and the smell of wet grass. I keep my tattoo uncovered now, the same one Marla made me buy a sleeve for. It's a simple compass on my forearm. Back then, I got it to feel grounded. Now, it reminds me that I don't need to ask for direction anymore. My school counselor, Ms. Liu, still checks in weekly. She says I'm doing better than most first years. I think that's just her way of being kind, but I believe her sometimes. I started seeing a virtual therapist, too. The first few sessions were awkward, lots of long pauses and uncomfortable silences. But by week 3, I was talking about my mom's old guilt trips like I was dissecting a lab sample. It feels good to say it out loud. To admit that some families love you in ways that leave bruises. My parents are trying. My dad visits once a month, takes me out for burgers, helps fix my busted window blind. He's still quiet, but he listens now. My mom sent a long email last week. It wasn't perfect, lots of excuses, still using the word misunderstood when she meant hurtful, but it ended with, "We want to earn back your trust, not demand it." That meant something. And then there's Evan. 2 weeks ago, he called me out of the blue. Said he had something important to ask. I thought it was going to be a favor. Instead, he said, "I'm getting married next summer. I want you to be my best man." I didn't say anything at first. I just sat there with my phone pressed to my ear, blinking hard. He continued, "You're the only one who's ever told me the truth. That matters to me. I said yes. His fiancée, Lacey, is amazing. Funny, low drama, smart. She hugged me the first time we met and said, I've heard a lot about you. The good kind. She actually means it when she says family. She asked for my help planning a few things. Nothing crazy, no strict grooming schedules or combat drills. Just help picking a playlist, giving a toast. It's the first wedding I'm excited for. Tori turns 13 next month. I text her every few days. Silly stuff, memes, music recs, riddles. I'm trying to be the brother she deserves. The kind of brother I wish I'd had. That's the real gift in all this. I can't undo the years Marla spent dragging me down, but I can make sure no one else in this family feels that small again. It starts with me. And this time, I'm ready.